Salvete, discipuli, discipuli. Hello, Latin students, both male and female. Discipuli is male students, discipuli, female students. I hope you are enjoying your summer. This is the first Latin video for the summer, and we're going to go over the pictures for Chapter 6. Remember, your goal is to log in on Schoology and to watch the videos and try to work through the chapters. It would be good to look over the chapters before you watch the video, then watch the video as a way to check your own understanding, and then you can even go back and watch a video again just to review. All right, let's jump right in with the first picture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the sentence below the picture and then leave a pause for you to repeat after me. And then I will give a translation of what the Latin means. So let's do the first one. I'll say it and then you repeat it. I'll break it into chunks. Servi perviam ambulabant. I'll say it one more time. Servi perviam ambulabant. Why don't you try to say it? Good. Servi is servants. And if you look at the picture, there's two servants. Then I do my Latin leap over to the verb. And in this case, we have nt, so that shows that it's plural. And then the be shows that they were doing this. This was something that they were continually doing in the past. So servi is servants, ambulabant is were walking. And then I go back to this phrase in the middle, perviam, through the street. So if you look at it, they're walking through this street. So servi perviam ambulabant. The servants were walking through the street. Next. All right, picture 2. I'll go ahead and read the sentence. Canis subito latravit. One more time. Canis subito latravit. Why don't you try to say it? Let's break that down. First word is the word for dog. Then we'll jump to the verb. And the verb ends in a T. So I know it's the third person. He, she, or it. And it has this letter right here, a V, which tells me I just need to add an ED to the verb. And latravit means to bark. So, if I put that together, canis latravit, the dog barked, and then we go back to the word in the middle, and that's the word for suddenly. Subito means suddenly. So to put it all together, the dog barked suddenly. Next picture. All right, picture number 3. Grumio canem timebat. One more time. Grumio canem timebat. Why don't you go ahead and try to say it? We've seen grumio before. We know we have the capital letter, so that's a name. And then we jump to our verb, okay, timebat. And I see the T, again, which lets me know that it's he, she, or it verbed something. Now this B right here shows me that he was doing it. So he was verbing. So grumio and timebat, when I look at it, I see the word timid, which means to be afraid. So grumio was afraid of the dog. Okay, grumio timebat canem. And you can see why by looking at the picture. So grumio was afraid of the dog. Or you could say grumio feared the dog. Next sentence. All right, picture 4. Pestis clamavit coquus. One more time. Pestis clamavit coquus. Why don't you go ahead and try to say that? First word, pestis, means what it looks like, pest. So he's referring here to the dog because it's biting him, so he's shouting out pestis. Then I go to my verb. I notice it ends in a T, which means it's he, she, it, verbed. The V here shows me I just need to add that ED. Okay? And so I'd say pestis, shouted. And then I look here and it tells me who shouted, and that's the cook. So pest shouted the cook. Next picture. All right, picture 5. Clamens erat fortis. One more time. Clamens erat fortis. Try to say it yourself. Picture 5 means, first off, we have a name, so clamens. We have a form of the word to be, erat. If it was in the present tense, it would be est, but the past tense of est is erat, and so est is the word is, but erat is the word was. So clamens was, and fortis, if you look at him, he's taking on the dog, no one else will, so he's brave. Clamens was brave. Next picture. Number 6. Student Latin first. Sed canis clamentem superavit. One more time. Sed canis clamentem superavit. Why don't you go ahead and try to say it? All right, let's try to break this down. Let's start with the subject, which is the dog. Then I'm going to jump over to my verb. Superavit has the T, so I know it's he or she or it verbs. The V here tells me I just add the simple ed. Superavit means to overcome, so I put in the past tense, overcame. So the dog overcame, and then I have my M right here that shows me that's the direct object. So the dog overcame clamens, and you can see that in the picture. Now there's that word I forgot at the beginning, said, and that means but. So but the dog overcame clamens. So even though he was brave, the dog still was victorious. Picture 7. Quintus per viam ambulabat. One more time. Quintus per viam ambulabat. Why don't you go ahead and try to say it? Okay, starting off with the subject, Quintus. Do my Latin leap to the verb. Hopefully you can see on the verb the ending that lets you know who's doing it. So we have the T, so that means it's he, she, or it verbs. The B tells me that he, she, or it was verbing something. Ambulabat means walks. So Quintus was walking, and then per viam, through the street. Quintus was walking through the street. Okay, picture 8. Juvenis clamorem audivit. Juvenis clamorem audivit. One more time. Juvenis clamorem audivit. Why don't you try to say it? All right, we have this word for a young man. We get our word juvenile from it. Let's do our Latin leap to the verb. The T tells me that he, she, or it verbs. The V tells me to add an ED to it. I see the guy holding his hand over his ear. So I remember that audiuit means, or audio means I hear. So audiuit means he heard. Okay, he heard. So the young man heard, and then I go to my direct object with the M, the uproar or the clamor or the loud noise. So to put it all together, the young man heard the loud noise. Number 9, canis clamentem vexabat. One more time. Canis clamentem vexabat. Why don't you go ahead and try to say it? Okay, let's start with the subject, dog. Jump to our verb. The verb ends in a T, so I know it's something about he, she, or it verbs. But then I have this B on it, so I know that it changes it to someone was verbing. And if I look at the what the verb means, it means to vex or to bother. And then I have my direct object. So the dog was vexing Claymanes. He was bothering him. You could see right there, ouch, he's biting him. Next one. Number 10. Quintus canum possavit. Quintus canum possavit. Try to say that yourself. Okay, we have the person Quintus. Do our Latin leap. We have our T. But we also have the V, which tells me I'm going to add an ED to it. Okay, so Quintus possavit means to hit. So Quintus hit. What did he hit? The dog. Quintus hit the dog. Now the V tells me that it's in past tense, but of course in English we don't say hitted. So that would not be correct. Hit is the same in present and past tense. Like today he hit, yesterday he hit. But in Latin, we have the V letting us know that it happened in the past tense. So Quintus hit the dog. Number 11, servi erant laeti. Servi erant laeti. Why don't you go ahead and try to say that? Okay, servi is servants. No Latin leap to the verb because we have this form of the to be verb. In the present tense, I see the NT, so I know it's referring to more than one person. The present tense of that word is sunt. Okay, and in English we'd say are, and the past tense of that is were. Okay, so the present tense is sunt are, past tense is erant were. The servants were, and laeti means happy. They're happy because the dog is going away. So servi erant laeti. The servants were happy. Number 12. Servi quintum laudaverant. Servi quintum laudaverant. Try to say that yourself. Okay, we have, again, servants. I jump to my verb. Ends in NT, so it means that they verb. So they verb. I see this V right here, so it means I'm going to add an ED to it, so they verbed. Laudo means to praise, so the servants, since it's NT, I know it's they. I'm going to add that ED. So the servants praised, and who did they praise? Quintus, because he has the M. So the servants praised Quintus. And that's the end of the pictures for stage 6. You might want to watch the video more than once. If you have any questions, just leave them as a comment below the video on Schoology, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video.